Hey everybody, another episode of RJT Travels where we're talking today about tips for international travel. So come check a few of them out. International travel can be stressful. It can be difficult. It can be, oh God, am I doing the right thing? Do I know all the tips? Do I understand what I'm doing? You just feel like it's a whole different animal. And honestly, it's not totally different. There are some aspects that are going to be a little different depending on where you're traveling internationally. But for the most part, these are some more general tips just to kind of ease a few of your fears and kind of walk you through to help get you to a better international travel experience. First one right out the gate is don't worry about cash. Now, certain countries, like if you're traveling into China and into some of the Asian countries, you're going to need specific apps or specific credit cards in order to pay, so it's going to be a different ballgame anyways. But focusing on more broad, like looking at a European or some type of North or South American, most of the time, you're going to be able to pay with credit card. So don't worry about taking tons of cash with you on an international trip. Also, don't convert all of that cash the second you get into the country. You pay a fee every time you're going to transfer money. So you get off your plane, you walk into your airport, and there's a currency exchange stand. They charge a commission to exchange your currency. It's not just, oh, here, we're going to trade you bill for bill. So you're going to be paying a fee to do that right off the gate. Transferring huge sums of money and then you don't end up using it, now you have to pay a fee again to get it changed back. So now you've paid money twice when you really didn't need it at all. So if you're going to do currency exchange, and I do suggest you bring some currency, don't do zero currency, but if you're going to do some currency, convert little by little. Better that you have to keep going back and converting more than doing it all at once, realize you didn't need it, and paying a double fee. 99% of credit cards these days don't charge international transaction fees anyways. They'll do the conversions for you automatically, so don't overstress about needing cash on your trips. If you're going to a more modernized city, really anything European for that matter, Tokyo in Japan, going to a lot of your more modern countries, they're going to be mostly digital anyways. They're going to do the conversions for whatever the local currency is there anyways, and just makes your life so much easier just to be able to tap and go and not worry about, did I convert right? Did I pay right? Did I over or underpay? Am I getting ripped off? It's an easy way to do it. So don't worry about cash. Another one, real simple. Don't forget the power converters. Going to most countries, there is some type of different outlet, whether the UK, whether it's a European outlet, whether it's an Asian outlet, there are outlets different than ours. Don't be that person that gets all the way to Great Britain and gets to London and then can't plug in any of their phones and has to go buy all new chargers or go buy converters somewhere at an airport because you can't plug anything in. You can get them on Amazon. There's actually a link in our bio for the one that I use. Works real well. It's a European converter. It goes to the UK and also goes to European. So if you're going to London and Paris, for example, it'll work in both locations. They're like $20 on Amazon. It's nothing crazy, but definitely buy yourself a converter. I take 3 whenever I go on a trip. I don't even always use 3, but I always like having it just knowing I've got the extra plug in case I need it. So there's a link in the bio to the one we use. It's like $20 on Amazon. It's real simple, but don't forget the converters, because if you're buying at an airport, you're paying a premium, and if you don't buy one at all, you're going to get stuck and not be able to charge any of your devices. First one right out the gate is don't worry about cash. Now, certain countries, like if you're traveling into China and into some of the Asian countries, you're going to need specific apps or specific credit cards in order to pay, so it's going to be a different ballgame anyways. But focusing on more broad, like looking at a European or some type of North or South American, most of the time, you're going to be able to pay with credit card. So don't worry about taking tons of cash with you on an international trip. Also, don't convert all of that cash the second you get into the country. You pay a fee every time you're going to transfer money. So you get off your plane, you walk into your airport, and there's a currency exchange stand. They charge a commission to exchange your currency. It's not just, oh, here, we're going to trade you bill for bill. So you're going to be paying a fee to do that right off the gate. Transferring huge sums of money and then you don't end up using it, now you have to pay a fee again to get it changed back. So now you've paid money twice when you really didn't need it at all. So if you're going to do currency exchange, and I do suggest you bring some currency, don't do zero currency, but if you're going to do some currency, convert little by little. Better that you have to keep going back and converting more than doing it all at once, realize you didn't need it, and paying a double fee. 99% of credit cards these days don't charge international transaction fees anyways. They'll do the conversions for you automatically. So don't over stress about needing cash on your trips. If you're going to a more modernized city, really anything European for that matter, Tokyo in Japan, going to a lot of your more modern countries, they're going to be mostly digital anyways. They're going to do the conversions for whatever the local currency is there anyways, and just makes your life so much easier just to be able to tap and go and not worry about, did I convert right? Did I pay right? Did I over or underpay? Am I getting ripped off? It's an easy way to do it. So don't worry about cash. Print out your full itinerary, including addresses. When you get into other countries, especially those that have a language barrier, it's always helpful to have your entire itinerary on paper. Sometimes cell phone signals can be spotty in other countries. Sometimes it's just a glitch. You got perfect service, but you can't load it. And now you're getting into a taxi and you need to get to your hotel. Maybe you don't speak the language and you're having trouble communicating to your taxi driver where you need to go. It's very helpful to just pull out a piece of paper that has the address already written, show it to the taxi driver, and they can understand it and go take you where you need. Maybe they do speak English. It's not a language issue. It's just you can't load your phone and don't remember the name of your hotel or the street that it's on. Always print a copy. Stick it in your backpack that you carry on the plane so you're not leaving it all over. Don't print 60 copies so everybody knows your whole trip. Just print a copy for you to stick in your backpack, have all of your information of which hotels you're staying at. Make sure to put the addresses on those so that way you know where you're going. In case your digital fails, you have a print backup so that you're always prepared and can always get where you need to go. Kind of coming off the language barrier concept, though, it's always helpful, even if you don't learn the full language, even if you're not conversational in that language, to have a few key phrases either learned or written down somewhere that you can go to quickly. Create a notepad note on your phone and just save a few key phrases. Print one out on a little note card or handwrite one out on a note card and just keep it in your pocket with you. But even though you don't need to know the whole language, and there are things like Google Translate that will help you do longer sentences and stuff, it's always helpful to know some key phrases like bathroom, please, thank you, yes, no, do you speak English? Asking basic questions, knowing basic phrases. So always keep that in mind. It takes 10 minutes. Write down a few key phrases. There's some YouTube videos on language. You can type them into Google Translate, but just write down, kind of learn a few key phrases, and that way, no matter what you do, you could, in an emergency, be able to at least communicate some simple things. Where is my embassy? I need police. I need medical. I need a hospital. Basic things that in some countries may be harder to know with a language barrier, but may come very handy in that emergent situation. The other thing I always suggest to do is locate your embassy. Most major cities across the world have a U.S. embassy or have a U.S. consulate that you can contact. In your country, for sure you'll have one. Maybe not in your city, but in your country you'll have one. Definitely go to the website. The U.S. State Department website lists every embassy we have, gives you an address, gives you an emergency phone number you can contact. So locate your embassy and know how to get a hold of them. If you get into legal trouble, if you get into medical trouble, if you just get confused or just need help of some kind, your embassy is there to help you. That's what the U.S. Embassy is to support U.S. efforts in that country, including supporting its citizens. You can always visit your embassy and ask for help. If your wallet gets stolen and you lose your passport, you can go to your embassy and they can help you secure an emergency passport to get you home. They are there as a resource for you. They are there to help you. They're not there to recommend which restaurant you should eat at or which hotel is better, but they are there to get you an emergency visa or get you a lawyer in case you get into legal trouble or help you navigate a billing situation at a hospital. The big stuff that you may not understand, they can help you. And if they can't, they're going to tell you that, but at least always know where your embassy is and always know how to get a hold of them because they can be a great lifeline in another country. Swinging back to that trip itinerary for a minute, my last tip is make a second copy of that itinerary and leave it with somebody not going on your trip. Same thing, including hotel contact information, addresses. Leave your full itinerary with somebody so they always know where you're supposed to be and how to get a hold of you. Again, you're in a foreign country. Things can happen that normally wouldn't affect you if you were at home, but because you're abroad, there's some different things in there. They may need to get a hold of you. You may need somebody to get a hold of you that you are not locally with. They need to know what hotel you're at. They need to know where you're staying so that they can try and get a hold of you as quick as they can. If you go missing in that country, the first thing the embassy and the consulate's going to ask in that country is, where were they staying? What was their itinerary? Do you know the last place they were at? So being able to say yes to they're staying at this hotel and today they were going on this tour and they were doing this really can help navigate local issues. So always share a full itinerary with somebody not going on your trip. If you use a travel agent, we always do that. RJT Travels does that 100% of the time. When you're traveling internationally, we always make an entire itinerary that we save here, and then we provide you with that embassy contact information so you know how to get a hold of them. The other thing is make a copy of your passport and leave that too. Definitely helps. If you lose your passport and you go to a foreign embassy, they're going to ask for proof of ID. You can fax down a copy of a passport so they have a passport number, can look up your information. They'll contact people back home to verify you are who you are and you're not trying to forge your way into the country. Being able to submit a travel itinerary and a passport really does go a long way to validating that and making the process that much smoother. Again, RJT Travels always copies everybody's passports and we save them till the end of your trip. Then we shred them, but while you're gone, we always keep a copy of that along with the itinerary. So that way, if anything happens, we have an entire packet to share and get all of that information as quickly as possible to the authorities that need it. So leave an itinerary with somebody not there. Leave a copy of your passport with somebody that's not there so that if the worst happens, if something goes wrong, somebody else can turn that information in and they don't have to sit there and think, oh, wait, he told me he was staying here, or was it here? I think they were in this city today, but I don't remember. He didn't tell me. Keep everything there and leave it there. Traveling abroad can be stressful. Traveling to a new country that you've never been, especially one that may have language barriers and things like that, can be stressful and add extra stress to planning a trip. So don't stress about it. There are going to be things that you can't control. There are going to be things that you're unfamiliar with. You're going into new territory. But that's kind of the fun of travel, experiencing new things outside your comfort zone. These tips are built just to make that a little bit easier and kind of ensure it's the small things that you may not think about at the time, but definitely things that you should. So I hope these tips helped. I hope these were something you went, oh, I didn't think about that, and now it's going to be on your list here. If you do have any questions about traveling abroad, RJT Travels is a fully certified travel agency. We will definitely help you out. You can go to our website, rjttravels.com. Fill out a thing there and somebody will give you a call and answer any questions that you have. You can also check us out on any of our social media platforms. We'd be love to interact with you on there and answer any questions. And of course, we can definitely help you book any trip. We travel abroad ourselves. We're very experienced in European and Asian travel. Besides all the Disneylands that are across the globe, we've sent people to Spain. We've sent people to London, to Paris, to Amsterdam, you name it, we've sent them there. We've dealt with it. We know things in the area. We have the resources and can definitely help make planning a trip, booking a trip, and taking a trip abroad that much easier. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. And again, I hope these tips help make your next international trip just a little bit easier. Make sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom there so that way you catch all of our videos and get all of our latest tips. And we hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks so much.